Welcome to Healing Powers TV. I'm your host, Laura Powers, and I'm so pleased today to have Myrna Goldbaum here. She is a master palmist, and I'm just going to start right away and just ask if you could talk about what is a master palmist and what you do.
I read the palm, and my hand has a double mark, and anytime you have a double line anywhere, that means extra good luck, and in my place it shows on my hand that I'm a master. I was here one other time on this planet. I came back to teach, and I do teach it. And every reading that I do, and I'm at 48,050 readings as of today.
Wow.
Every single one, I explain every single line to everyone.
Okay. So. And how did you get into palm reading?
Okay, when I was 10 years old, I think I was in about the 4th grade, my mother was a nurse in a hospital in Dayton, Ohio. I showed up for a ride home. She couldn't leave. The next shift didn't show up. And my mother was the charge nurse, the one who wears the key. And she said, I can't leave because I'm in charge of narcotics. We have to stay 8 hours. And if you know about 10-year-old kids, I got antsy and noisy, and I said, smells like death all around here. There's sick people everywhere. And I didn't like it, and she had to shut me up. So she pulled a book off of the volunteer's wagon. She just went, here, read this. She didn't look at the title. She didn't pay any attention to any of it. And I went and sat down, and I was there 8 hours, and I read that book.
Wow.
And it took, I think she gave me dinner somewhere in there. But after 8 hours, I was hooked. That's my introduction to palmistry. I'd never heard of it before. And then I went back to that hospital every single day. I took 2 transfers, 2 buses to read that book a little more because it's pretty complicated. But it isn't that bad because Hindu Indian is a different kind, and that is complicated. And what I do is from the Asia. It's called Oriental, and it's much simpler.
And so did you start reading people right away at that age, at around 10?
My sister was 6 years old, and I learned on her hand. Now she's 67. She walks like that. Anytime she's near me, she won't let me look.
Oh!
She thinks I need to see it. But once I do a hand, I memorize it. Yeah. So I've known every single hand I ever do. I get them by heart. So.
Okay. It's fascinating to me. And what do you look for in someone's hands?
Well, there's a lot of different things, but there's 5 basic lines that I check first, and it's the lifeline, the love line, work, reproduction, the bracelets around the wrist. And then if they have questions, for instance, of an affair, I say, when I'm all done, do you have anything that I didn't cover? And they usually go, oh, you got it all, you covered me. And sometimes they have something I didn't get because in a 20 or 30-minute reading, you can't get it all. I do hour readings in my home, and usually they walk away going, you got me.
And do you use any additional information besides what you can see on the
Well,
hands?
I think we're all psychic, and I'm a little psychic. I'm not saying I'm a psychic, and that's it. So I think I use the lines as the tool or the crutch, and then I touch the person. Well, when I do a reading, I should tell you, every single person I ever read has to write their name and either their address, their phone number, something, because if you pick up a pen and your brain says, write your name, I go into their brain. I don't know how that works, but I touch the handwriting without touching it. I just write above it. Then I know what I have sitting across from me.
Okay.
So that's the first protocol.
I think that's interesting because names are so powerful. I've found intuitive readers that do the same thing. They ask you to say your name. So I guess that's
okay. Well, here's the other thing. We write our name more than anything, so that's why. But here's what I do in every reading too. Take your hands and fold them up for me. So you know when I walked in today, you told me that you're ambidextrous and you were born left-handed and got switched, right?
Well,
that proves it.
Okay.
See, your left thumb is up, so is mine. Whatever thumb comes up first is who you are. Whatever other one comes up next is who you became.
Oh.
So you and I came in as a left-handed baby, and our mother switched us in the crib. And that's why we do some things both-sided.
Okay.
So a righty-righty who comes in right, they've always been right, they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them, that's normal. And a normal person's easy for me to read. And the person who's been switched, such as you, me, it's a little more difficult because I'm reading both sides of the brain instead of just one.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I actually never thought I was left-handed. I just thought I was right-handed, and then...
But you're created. You know how to
Yeah.
color coordinate. You do different things, and it's
Yeah.
all both sides of the brain working in tandem, you see?
Okay.
And some people, goes over their head, they don't get it, you get it.
That's so
See?
fascinating because
So-
I am actually exactly left-brained and equally left-brained and
I
right-brained.
know that. So
Yeah.
now undo them, switch your hands, put the other thumb on top and tell me
That
you
feels
can't
weird.
even do
It
it.
was hard.
Weird, odd, awkward, I don't like it, it's icky. Those are all the words I get from people. I can't stand the other one up there. But if you closed your eyes and did this 500 times in a row, it
Yeah,
should be left. Left
no.
should be more,
I had to
feel
really
better.
think about doing it the other way, which is funny because it seems like that would be really easy.
Okay, so I do 3 protocols in every reading. First one
Okay.
is the handwriting. Then I do the thumb on everybody.
Okay.
Then I do parties. So Sunday I did a party at a girl's house and I told everybody, don't go out and talk about thumbs. You can say anything I said in this room, but this is private because nobody needs to know if you're one-brained or two-brained or if they're both working in tandem or not.
Right.
But the third thing I do is I have the person shake their hand out really good,
Okay.
slap the table, and I read the spacing between the fingers.
Oh, wow.
Then I do the reading. So that all takes maybe a couple minutes, but that gives me enough information, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask me, what do I do? That's what I do.
Oh my gosh, this is so interesting.
So,
So I have read a little bit about palm reading when I was much younger, and I've heard that one hand has to do with one thing and the other hand has to do
well,
with something else. Can
okay,
you talk about
in
that?
Asia, they believe if you're right-handed today, because you and I both are, so the right hand is our fate, our destiny, it's what God dealt us.
Okay.
The other hand is utopia, it's what we wish. So everybody wishes the same thing. You're going to be healthy, wealthy, wise, go on vacations, never have to work. So I never read the other hand. Because everybody wants the same thing.
Right.
And that isn't true. That isn't reality. Reality is the hand you eat and write with.
Okay, so it's whatever. So if I'm right-handed, you would read.
The
Now
right-
you
now I'm
read
going to
my
read.
right
I
hand.
happen to have the Sherlock Holmes
Okay.
thing here, and I am going to look at your right hand.
Okay.
So we're not. We already did the thumb
The
thing.
thumb, yeah,
We're
so
not going to do the slap the hand. There's no
Okay.
table here. So I'm going to just study it for a minute and tell you what I see. So it says you're not a millionaire,
Mm-hmm.
but it says that you like fine things.
I do.
Okay. Then it says your lifeline starts here and comes across, and it's way past 90. So that means you come from genes from people who live pretty long.
Okay.
And so you're not very old, and you're probably going to see 120 to 130. And the reason is technology's coming
Wow.
in. Anybody under 50 is going to see that. So,
Okay.
because there won't be any food to eat on this planet, and they'll say, don't eat the food, no! And if anybody sees that and they eat it, they're going to die. So they'll all run over here, and the people that believe that will die if you don't get nourishment, food, liquid.
Right.
The people who are fighters, survivors, and you come from survivors. Do you see this line, how deep it
Okay.
is? I
Yeah.
don't know if the camera can see that, but it's your best line.
Okay.
Okay, so it says that you come from the people who go the other way, and they go, people in Peru are drinking water now and living to 120. I can do that.
All
And
right.
that's who you are.
Okay.
And then the love line says, you might have been married, but you're not now.
That's true.
And it says that it should never have happened. It was not, it doesn't look like it's supposed to look. Marriage looks like a wishbone. Two
Mm.
people tie the knot right here.
Yeah.
You have no knot. You
Yeah.
got married, but it didn't come together,
Yeah.
which means you did your thing, he did his thing, and you went like that, and
Yeah.
eventually it just split, and you went, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I
And you
think that's
went,
pretty
"I'm outta
accurate.
here." Okay. Then it shows you have a soulmate coming in, and they call me the soulmate specialist, and that's what I like to talk about. And you have this V, or it looks like a pyramid, right at the
Right.
end of your lifeline
Okay.
here, or right up there. And so one side is you, the other side is somebody else, and you tie the knot here, who is the one you're going to marry.
Hmm.
And this is past lives, and I can tell you how many times you've been here. 7. So you're so normal, it's boring, and I like it, because 4 to 7 is what most people have been here, and
Uh-huh.
some people have been here 60.
Mhm.
And if you've been here 4, you have 4 chances. You've been here 7.
Mhm.
There's 7 soulmates out there that you could connect with.
Okay,
So
interesting.
that was my read. So
Oh, well,
did you
thank
like
you.
that?
No, yeah, I did, and I have to say that it definitely rings true.
You should see your face now.
It's fascinating stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because it's about
just
you.
so everyone knows in the audience, we did not talk about any of this beforehand. So
Right, I didn't ever look at her hand till just now. So
And
that's
I
true.
didn't tell her anything about my life, so
And there's no way I would know.
right.
Yeah. So I get 90 to 95% right. And I've been doing this 61 years, and I'm at 48,050 hands documented. So I hope that I'm pretty good now, because if I'm not good now, I'm not going to be. I only have the other 1/3 of my life left, and I'm going to be reading till the last breath. So.
Wow. So if someone wants to learn about how to do this themselves, or just learn more about palm reading in general, how do you do that?
I teach classes in it. Hindu Indian dates back to the year 2000 BC, and the Oriental goes to 3000 BC. And I'm not quite that old, but I have been teaching a long time, and I've taught over 3,024 people so far. And the reason I know is I make them buy this book here that I wrote called May I See Your Hand, and I teach out of that book. And so everybody who buys the book can go to it after they take my 2-hour class. If they get stuck, it's like an encyclopedia. You just go look something up, and so you have to practice. Anything you do, you have to practice. So the first day you do your own hand, and that's in the class. If you understand you, then you can understand the next person. And then each time you do one, you get a little better. And it's like playing the piano, one hand, then two hands, then the foot pedal in the hands, you know.
You just gradually get more involved with it.
And everybody, I guarantee people that they can read before they leave that class.
Okay. Now, I have a question actually about what people's hands look like. I've had a couple of examples where I met someone and they looked attractive and nice, and then I looked at their hands and had a kind of a reaction where I just was like, oh, I don't want to, there's something I didn't like about their hand.
Was it the shape of the hand, or how many lines were on it?
Maybe just the shape and just, I guess, the general impressions. I wondered, what does that
Well,
mean?
you have what's called a textbook hand.
Yeah.
And that means you don't have too many lines, just exactly what I like, what I need, and what I can use in a reading. And a person who's got a whole lot of lines is very complicated. But as far as the shape, like I have a big old hand, you have a delicate feminine one, then there's people that have little tiny short stubby fingers. They're all different, and I notice hands all the time because I look at nails, nail bed, that little half moon thing. I look at everything. I look at the wrinkles, I look at a lot of different things. But I never heard of anybody that said a hand turned them off before, so that's a new one.
Yeah, I don't know, it was almost like a repulsive feeling.
Okay, well then it's the whole person. It was something else. It was something else, and the hand was just part of it that got to you. Your intuition kicked in.
Okay, all right. So maybe they had a mask or something they showed with their face, but then their hands are kind of showing the real.
Or maybe they weren't truthful, and you could tell by the hand something isn't right here. It doesn't match what they look like.
Right.
See?
Yes, it was exactly like that. Okay, fascinating. Well, great. Thank you so much for being on the show. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the audience?
Well, I wrote 3 books here, and I'm very proud of my work. I have the stock on all of them, and the first one's called May I See Your Hand, and that's what I say to everybody, and I'm on the cover of this. This book was written in 1 hour, and you can't write a book in an hour, so it was channeled.
Oh, wow.
Then, because I talk to people who always want to talk about love and romance, I wrote the one called Soulmate Connection. Then I decided, that was 2003. 2004, I decided I always write love stories, but I see murderers, kidnappers, embezzlers, blackmailers, UFO people, ghosts, so I wrote that all in the Diary of a Palm Reader. And I'd like to give out my information.
Yes, please. How can people get a hold of you?
So people would get a hold of me by looking up on my website, www.myrnaloupalmistry.com. It's spelled MYRNALOUPALMISTRY.com. If they want to email me, it's hmg@privateeye.com, and it's private with the little letter I, not EYE. It's the letter I. And then if they want to call me, 303-651-6273, and I have a blog, and it's called Soulmate Connections, because of the book, .blogspot.com.
Well, that's great. Well, I'll go ahead and post this information on my website and
Thank you
as well. Thank you so much for being a guest
thank
on
you
the
for
show.
having me. I had a ball.
Wonderful.
It was fun.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and mention my website as well, which is www.healingpowers.net, and you can find additional episodes of the show on that site. Thanks so much.
Okay.